Hello and welcome to the Aunty Lisa show. Today on the Aunty Lisa show we're going to do a story with Aunty Lisa, Aleksander and Kristoffer, obviously. The North Pole, an Ankylosaurus, a toilet because I forgot to put it in the last story apparently, Andy's clock, a T-Rex, I feel I may have overdone this, Jason the Egg, which means I have to do his voice, Captain Ghostbeard and invisibility. Let us begin. So, one day, Aunty Lisa, Aleksander and Kristoffer decided to go and visit their good friend Jason the Egg. Which is an interesting thing to do because in order to visit Jason the Egg, you have to go to Minecraft World. What? Which means you have to end up all square in every single possible way. So, they needed a little bit of Minecraft magic in order to get them there. And so they had to say some magic words, which they had been taught by Jason the Egg. And those magic words were, Izzy Wizzy, let's get busy in Minecraft. And they got sucked into the iPad. We haven't been sucked into an iPad before. Well, they got sucked into the iPad. And there they were. All rectangular in every way. Minecraft World. There was Minecraft pigs and Minecraft cows and all sorts of other Minecraft things, like those scary things that look like ghosts but aren't ghosts. I don't know what they are. They're kind of gruesome. Anyway, and so we strolled along. Aleksander, Aunty Lisa and Kristoffer strolled along through Minecraft World until they bumped into Jason the Egg. And Jason the Egg said, "Hey guys!" And Aleksander and Kristoffer said, "Hey, Jason, we come to visit like we promised." And he said, "Oh, great. Have you seen my pig? I lost my pig. I had a pig. I rode on it. Now I've lost it." And they said, "Oh, isn't there a pig over there? And over there? And over there? In fact, there's loads of pigs here, Jason." Jason said, "Oh yeah, there's loads of pigs in Minecraft. That's right. Let's all ride a pig." So, everyone found a pig and rode on the pig, which seemed like a good idea at the time. And they rode and they rode and they rode until they made their way to a big Minecraft field of carrots. At which point, all the pigs went and snuffled off in every other direction. And Aleksander, Kristoffer, Aunty Lisa and Jason the Egg all tumbled off the backs of the pigs that had rushed off to eat all the Minecraft carrots. And Jason went, that went badly wrong. And Aunty Lisa went, my head hurts. I don't think I like being in Minecraft World anymore. And Aleksander and Kristoffer agreed that they didn't also want to be in Minecraft World anymore because they were fed up with being square, for one thing. And Jason the Egg said, "Okay, wow, thanks for visiting. It's nice to see you." And Aleksander said, "Hey, Jason, why don't you come and visit us in the real world?" And Jason said, "Okay, how do I do that though?" And they said, "Well, you have to say the magic words." And Jason, "Okay." And they said, "Right, copy us. Izzy Wizzy, Izzy Wizzy, let's get busy. Let's get busy. Take us all to real world." Whoop! And they all got sucked out of the iPad. Except something went horribly wrong. When they came back into the real world, they were invisible. Ah, no! They were invisible, including Jason the Egg, who had made it to the real world. He was like, "Wow, everything's so curvy here in the real world. I like it. I'm curvy." And Aunty Lisa said, "I thought you would like it, Jason, because you are very curvy compared to everything else in Minecraft." And he said, "Yeah, it sucks being in Minecraft because I'm the only curvy one." And Aunty Lisa said, "That must be hard for you." So, they were in the real world. Now, it's a good thing being invisible sometimes because you can prank people. So, Aunty Lisa, Aleksander and Kristoffer and Jason the Egg decided to do just that. So, they went on a little tour of all the fun places they could think of in the real world, while still being invisible. They went, first of all, to Jurassic World. And they strolled straight in. They didn't have to buy a ticket. They didn't have to line up in queues. No. They strolled straight into Jurassic World, which, to be fair, they do anyway because they know Owen in Jurassic World. But this was particularly fun. So, they strolled straight in. They did have to be careful, though, not to bump into anybody. And if they did bump into anybody, the person was like, what? Oh, and thought they bumped into a ghost. But they hadn't. It was Aunty Lisa, Aleksander, Kristoffer and Jason the Egg, all bouncing their way through Jurassic World. And so what they did was this. They thought to themselves, whoo, let's play some pranks on people at Jurassic World. So first of all, they went over to the T-Rex enclosure. Now, they are kind to all animals, so they did not want to prank the T-Rex. They did think it would be hilarious to prank all the people who were watching the T-Rex eat its dinner. And this is what they did. They crept up behind the people who were already quite frightened because they were watching the T-Rex eat its dinner, which, by the way, was a cow. A whole cow. That's how it ate it. And they crept up behind them. And Aunty Lisa and Aleksander and Kristoffer and Jason the Egg went, ready, steady. And all the people jumped out of their skins nearly. Not really. That would be disgusting. They jumped out of their skin like, what the? Because they thought the T-Rex must have escaped a different T-Rex. And they crept up behind them and roared so loudly in their ears. They were absolutely terrified. One person fainted and somebody else wet themselves. It was hilarious until, obviously, the humiliation of those people. But Aunty Lisa, Aleksander, Kristoffer and Jason the Egg were laughing and laughing and laughing so hard, they wet themselves too. So they got instant karma for being so mean. Now, because everyone had wet themselves, including Jason the Egg, which you wouldn't think possible because he's just an egg, they had to go get cleaned up. And they were, oh man, this is so humiliating. Oh. And then they realised no one could see them, so it was less humiliating than it could have been. They thought, right, well, we'd better go to the toilets and get ourselves cleaned up because we've got all wee on our trousers now from laughing so hard. So they snuck into the Jurassic World toilets, which are the coolest toilets you'll ever go to because each one is themed like a different dinosaur. So there's one toilet that's the theme of a T-Rex, and when you sit on the toilet bowl, it's got a big T-Rex mouth like, and you have to sit on it and be scared in case you might bite you on the bottom. And there's T-Rex hand towels and also T-Rex hand dryer. And what they needed was the hand dryer because it goes and blows out hot air to dry off your wet clothes. Or normally your wet hands, but in this case, wet clothes. So they locked themselves into the T-Rex toilets. T-Rex themed toilets, I should say. There's no T-Rex in there. And I spent a good half hour drying off all of their clothes under the hand towels. To the extent that there was an enormous queue outside the T-Rex toilets. And Aunty Lisa said, hey, how are we going to get out of here? There's a huge queue. When we open the door, they're going to open it and realise there's nobody in here. Or think there's nobody in here, but we're in here. Oh, man, they're going to think it's a ghost. Oh, no. Well, everyone else thought that was a silly thing to worry about. And that what they would do was quickly unlock the door and then hide behind it until some people came in. And then sneak out. Well, they weren't quite quick enough. What happened was they opened the door, some people came in, locked it, and went to the toilet. Oh, it was awful. But they had to sneak out behind them. So, eventually they escaped the toilet. And then they thought, well, what next? What could we possibly do with this newfound power of invisibility? So they decided to go to the cafe. Now, Aunty Lisa wanted a nice cup of coffee and some cake. So they went to the cafe, but they weren't so cheeky as to steal any food, because Aunty Lisa would never encourage that. They nipped in, grabbed some cakes and threw some money on the counter, and then ran out. Everyone in there was properly spooked by the flying cakes that suddenly disappeared into thin air. They were like, what? Was that a ghost? And they went, no, it can't have been a ghost. And they carried on with their day. Now, Aunty Lisa's realising there's quite a lot of bits in this story. So they thought, what can we do now? We need to do something even more exciting. And that's the real word. And Kristoffer said, let's go to the Natural History Museum. Yeah. Aunty Lisa said, what could go wrong? Let's do this. So they all went to the Natural History Museum. And once again, they didn't have to queue up. They just went straight in. And Aleksander said, let's go see if Andy's clock is here. Or if he's on a special trip. Can we go? Can we go? Can we go? Can we go? And Aunty Lisa went, yeah, all right. What could possibly go wrong? So they found Andy's clock, and sure enough, there it was, waiting with nobody there. They were all alone. Jason the egg said, what does this clock do? I mean, can it take us back to dinosaur times or something? Whoop! Oops. Jason the egg had told the clock to take them back to dinosaur times. Out they came out of the clock. Uh-oh, it was super hot and super sweaty, and all the plants and trees were like in a jungle. They were huge and enormous. Everyone stood perfectly still, except Jason the egg, who kind of wobbled a bit because he's an egg. They were like, what is going on? Which dinosaur times are we in? Jurassic, Triassic, the other ones? I don't know. Are there any other ones? Mesozoic? There might not be dinosaur times. Anyway, soon enough, they saw something in the distance. And it was an Ankylosaurus. Whoa, it was pretty cool, Ankylosaurus. Stomp, 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 stomp. And Aunty Lisa said, keep perfectly still. We don't want to freak out that Ankylosaurus. And Jason the egg said, but aren't we invisible still? Aunty Lisa said, good point. We're invisible. We can do whatever we like. Which was a silly thing to do, because they were invisible, but they were not insoundable, which isn't a word, so don't use it. Which means that the Ankylosaurus was completely freaked out, because all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it heard a very strange noise, which was this. And the Ankylosaurus was like, ah! And it went with its massive Ankylosaurus tail, and it whacked the clock, and the clock flew into the air and landed. It landed in the river. And Aunty Lisa was like, no, not into the river. But at least it's not smashed to pieces. I mean, that's a plus. But now the clock was sailing off down the river, and they were in a right old fluster. And they said, we've got to quickly get that clock. We've got to get the clock. Oh, no, oh, no, oh, no. So they ran and they ran and they ran and they ran. And they ran fast as their little legs, and in Jason the Egg's case, no legs, could take them. And they took one big, ginormous leap. And they took one big, ginormous leap. And they leapt, and just about their fingertips managed to grab the top of the clock. All of them was now grabbing hold of the clock. Jason the Egg was grabbing it with his teeth like this, because he hadn't got any arms. Don't think he has anyway. Grabbed it. Aunty Lisa, Aleksander, Kristoffer, Jason the Egg, all grabbing hold of a magic clock floating down a river towards the sea. Aunty Lisa started to get a teeny tiny weeny bit flustered at this point, because what if there was a mosasaurus? Mosasaur. You know, those big things that eat things from in the sea. In the sea. And she thought, oh no, what if we all get eaten in the sea? Well, quick as a flash, she said, quick, back to normal times. And the clock went, but it went a bit haywire. They were on their way to the sea after all, and out they popped in current day times in the middle of the sea. Oh no, in the middle of the sea, holding on to a clock. It's a wooden clock, so it floats, thank goodness. Otherwise, they'd be really stuck. I mean, sure, Aunty Lisa can swim, but she don't want to hold up everybody. Aleksander and Kristoffer did not have their armbands on. And Jason the Egg would only float if he'd gone off. Which wouldn't be good for Jason the Egg, would it? Anyway, so there they were in the middle of the sea. Now, Kristoffer said, "Whoa, look, 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 look. We're in luck. There's a ship coming towards us. A ship, we're saved." Aunty Lisa went, "Yay, we're saved." Jason the Egg went, "Hey, we're saved," because he was still holding onto the clock with his mouth. Aleksander said, "Oh no." This was no ordinary ship. This was Captain Ghostbeard's ship. And Captain Ghostbeard was the most meanest Captain Ghost person that you could ever hope to meet, or preferably hope never to meet, because he's not very nice. And he came up close to them and he said, "Oh, hey there, me hearties," with his beard of dead fish. "What are you doing in these seas? These seas are mine, mine." And Aunty Lisa said, "We got here by accident, Captain Ghostbeard. It was a mistake. We're trying to get home now." And he went, "Good. You better be getting home quick, smart, or I'll be making ye walk the plank." And Aleksander said, "But we're already in the sea. We can't hardly walk the plank." Captain Ghostbeard said, "Don't you be smart with me." And Aleksander said, "Okay." And Kristoffer said, "Well, we're just going to get out of here anyway, all right? We're just going to get back to somewhere else." And Aleksander said, "Yeah, we're going to go to the North Pole, so there." Well, at that point, of course, the magic clock kicked in. And it can travel through space as well as time, because as you may know, Andy used to do Andy's safari adventures and go to Africa and places. I think that's what it was called. Anyway, they landed in the North Pole. Now, that is not a place you want to land when you've just been in the sea, because everyone was blooming frozen solid. On the plus side, they didn't smell of wee anymore, but they were frozen solid. Like this. Not quite. Not that bad. They weren't like frozen solid, but their clothes were starting to freeze. "I'm so cold," said Aunty Lisa. "Me too," said Aleksander. "But me," said Kristoffer. Jason Egg went, "I don't know what's wrong with you all." And Aunty Lisa said, "Don't you feel the cold, Jason?" He went, "I'm an egg." So he was fine. Anyway, as luck would have it, they were at the North Pole. But who should live at the North Pole? Father Christmas, also known as Santa Claus. But I like to call him Father Christmas. That's just what I think. Anyway, "Ho, ho, ho," said Father Christmas. And everyone turned around like, "What? Oh, wow, it's Father Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. What are you boys and girls doing here?" And Egg, very strange. "Do you want to come in? You look absolutely frozen." So everyone said, "Absolutely, yes, please, Father Christmas." And then they realised something odd had happened. Father Christmas could see them. For that matter, so did Captain Ghostbeard. Aunty Lisa said, "This is very odd. Can you see us, Father Christmas? We thought we were invisible. We were definitely invisible earlier on in this story." And Father Christmas said, "Of course I can see you. I'm magical. I can see all sorts of things that other people can't see, like invisible kingdoms of fairies and elves, and invisible anything you like. There's nothing that I can't see. Ho, ho, ho." Probably applies to ghosts too. Aunty said, "That explains why Captain Ghostbeard could see us. No holes in this story." So they all went in to see Father Christmas and Mrs. Christmas and some elves. And Mrs. Christmas and Father Christmas gave them all mince pies, which Aunty Lisa is one of Aunty Lisa's favourite kinds of pies. And they sat down and had a nice hot drink. Oh, they felt 100 billion times better. And the elves lent them some new clothes. Everyone was dressed up in elf clothes, which was hilarious. And then Father Christmas said, "Okay, well, you guys, I expect your mummies and daddies will be quite worried about where you are by now." And Aunty Lisa said, "Yeah, we've got this magic clock. I'm not convinced it might take us home. But also, I'm a bit worried, Father Christmas." Father Christmas said, "What's wrong, Aunty Lisa?" And Aunty said, "Well, we got turned invisible because we went into Minecraft land, and then when we came back out, it went wrong. Do you think you could magic us so that we're not invisible to everybody else, please?" And Father Christmas said, "Of course. It's just like this. Izzy, Wizzy, let's get busy. Turn these people back to visibly." Oh, everyone felt 100 times better because they started to realise that they could be seen. And he said, "Okay, do you guys need a lift home?" And they said, "Do you know what? I think this clock might be slightly broken because it's been in the sea and the river. And we've got some explaining to do, actually, thinking about that. Andy is not going to be happy. So, yes, please, Father Christmas." So Father Christmas gave everybody and the clock a lift home back to the Natural History Museum where they met up with Andy and said they were really sorry, but they had got his clock really soggy. And Andy said, "Oh, you guys, normally it's me getting people into trouble. Okay, I'm sure we can dry it out and it'll be absolutely fine." So that's what they did. And then he said, "Wow, Father Christmas, oh my goodness, awesome. I've always wanted to meet you. Can I have a selfie?" And so Andy had a selfie with Father Christmas. And then everybody had a selfie with Father Christmas, because if you meet Father Christmas, you should definitely take a photo to remember it. And then they said, "Right, Jason, do you want to go back to Minecraft world, or are you going to stay here with us?" And Jason went, "I like it here, but I think I'll go back to Minecraft world." And so they said a special magic thing to get Jason the egg back to Minecraft world, which was, Izzy Wizzy, let's get busy. Take this egg back to Minecraft world. And Jason the egg went back inside the iPad. Whew, everything had been returned to as it should be. And they all breathed, frankly, a huge sigh of relief. And they all needed a nice cup of tea and a sit down and some cake at the Natural History Museum cafe. And Father Christmas joined them, and everybody there was staring like, "Whoa, do you think it's the real Father Christmas?" And of course it was. And then he went home, and they all said, "Bye, Father Christmas. See you in December." And that is the end of the story. Love you. Bye-bye.